Hi, I'm Rachel,
I'm Eric.
and we gotta eat them all. So today we're cooking up some Charmander cutlets.
Yep.
We're gonna bread those in some panko. And since Charmander's favorite food is apples, in honor of him, we've decided to do stuffed baked apples. So let's get started.
Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. You can't eat Charmander. Charmander's poisonous. Well, that's a common misconception for a lot of people because when people are preparing to meat, they get some of this mixed in. This is isoprene, and isoprene is normally clear, but when it comes from Charmander, it usually gets some of an orange color. Isoprene is toxic, and it's what allows them to have their flame tail. There's a reservoir inside them, and it pipes through the tail up to the tail tip and produces the flame. So if you're not careful when you're getting the Charmander meat, it will be drenched in this stuff, and you can't eat it. It's toxic. But we have properly prepared meat, perfectly safe. And if we wanted to use this for, say, a kerosene lamp or something, or another common use for isoprene is production of rubber and other things. But it's a very useful thing. We're just concerned about the meat today.
So we got this from a local Charmander farm. They take very good care of their livestock. They feed them a very healthy diet. They get as many vegetables as they can in them, but everyone knows Charmander hates vegetables. Like I said, their favorite food is apples. So the meat tends to be a little bit sweeter, kind of like pork, which is really surprising. But if you really think about it, naturally a Charmander would be a white meat since they do evolve into a flying creature, and most flying creatures do produce white meat. So that's how you get this kind of really nice pink marbling, and it's nice, sweet. We're gonna cover that in some barbecue sauce today to give it a little spicy, tangy flavor. But first, we need to get these apples started. These apples are gonna take like an hour to bake. So the first thing you need to do is use a melon baller, and you're gonna cut out your core. Not all the way through, this is why we're not using a corer. You wanna make like a nice little pocket in the apple that you can just stuff all of this delicious goodness in. We're doing a little sweeter today with some oats and brown sugar, chopped pecans, cinnamon, and nutmeg. And then of course with our butter, can't go wrong with a little extra butter. So we're just gonna go ahead and get all that inside out. And I love my little throwaway bowl here. You know, I mean, some people will just do this kind of thing right over their garbage can, but it's just, for me, it's just so much easier to have like kind of this trash bowl. I love it. It just makes everything, keeps everything right at hand, really easy to use.
When you're done with it, you just take it away, dump it.
We got our apples all nice and cored up, so you can see a nice little well in there, so that we're gonna shove all of this stuff in. But first we gotta mix it up. So my butter's been softening for a little while. It should be pretty easy, but I do have a pastry cutter to make this a little bit easier for us. So we're just gonna go ahead, throw in our old-fashioned oats. These are not quick cooking. They are the old-fashioned style. And then I have light brown sugar. If you wanna use dark brown sugar, it gives it a little bit of a richer flavor. But like I said, we're kind of going for a pretty sweet flavor on this, but we want it to be light so it doesn't overtake those Charmander cutlets. Got chopped pecans. I cut them up pretty small. Like I said, you want them to fit inside these apples real nice. And then we have our cinnamon, good healthy dose of that, and just a pinch of nutmeg. Nutmeg can kind of be an overpowering flavor, so you don't want to add too much. And we're gonna go ahead and get this mixed up.
There's a method to this. You smash it up like this, but as you do it, it tends to get all clumped up on your pastry cutter, so I use a fork to get it off. And then just rinse and repeat until it's all smashed up.
And our oven is preheated to 375 degrees. We're gonna go ahead and just spoon some of this right in there and pack it in nice and tight. I'm using a spoon here, but obviously if you wanna use a spatula or if you have a better system, then go for that. We do have pastry bags, that might have been easier.
We do, but I'm not sure if it justifies it. There's so little material here.
But you really want to get it in there because this is going to bake and just soften up this apple and just get everywhere. So just really want to make sure that you fill those wells all the way up with as much filling as you can pack in there. So now that I have them all packed and full, really tight, there's some left over here, so I'm just gonna like put it on top of these apples so it drips over the apples and really soaks into that skin. These, like I said, these things are gonna bake for like an hour, so they're gonna get really soft. It's gonna basically be an apple pie in an apple. These are going to be really good, and yes, I'm touching it.
Look at this. It's delicious.
So before you throw these in the oven, just make sure that they get, you know, all the heat and you want to make sure that the heat comes down from the top as well as from the bottom. We're going to cover this in foil. Keep all that moisture in there. So we want these apples to get really, really soft, fork tender soft. Keep all that moisture inside. Nice tent, really close it up, airtight. And this is gonna go in the oven for about half an hour. After that half hour, we're gonna check them, but they'll probably need another 30 minutes. We did purchase these really nice Charmander chops at our local butcher this morning, but we wanna make breaded cutlets. We want these nice and thin. So we're gonna throw them in a plastic bag. A lot of people like to layer them between like plastic wrap. I just find plastic wrap really hard to work with. So I like a plastic bag. I can do 2 at a time in the gallon size. And you just have to make sure that you get all of the air out so that whenever you start pounding it, it doesn't explode. So you just want to get a nice heavy pan. We're going to use this one and go to town.
This doubles as therapy.
So we're gonna set these aside since we're not quite ready to bread them just yet. We're just gonna move them from our dirty cutting board to a clean one. Do you want to try it?
Okay, I'll give it a shot. It's kind of fun.
You don't have to be so aggressive trying to break anything.
There, is that good? Those nice and flat?
Give them a couple more hits.
Okay. How's that?
These look great. I love how nice and square they got with you.
Look at me.
Mine kept long.
Yeah, those are real nice and flat.
All right, so this has been in there for half an hour. We're gonna go ahead and take the foil off and get our first peek at it.
Okay, let's take a look.
Oh, wow. Those look great so far. So I use Honey Crisp apples for these. You can use whatever kind you like. If you like a tartar apple, you can use traditional Granny Smith. We wanted something to be a little lighter, a little sweeter. Since I did use Honey Crisp, it's a little bit of a softer apple. We're only gonna cook these for another 20 and check them again.
Oh, it looks delicious. Look how good that is.
Nice and sizzly. Let's give it a little poke. Just want to make sure these are nice and fork tender. Ooh, yeah, that's gonna be really nice. I like that. All right, so we're gonna let these cool down a little bit and get our oven up to 425.
That's what we need for the meat.
So now that our apples are out of the oven and our oven space is freed up, we're gonna go ahead and toast our panko breadcrumbs. Now, if you've never toasted your panko breadcrumbs before using it for breading, it is the secret sauce. Panko is great. It is so amazing. It just cooks up so nicely, but if you toast it a little bit beforehand, it just adds that little extra kick. And we have a little bit of cayenne. Like I said, we're doing Charmander, so a little spicy, a little sweet. Let's hit some heat with that. Oh shoot, I have made a mistake. So we're gonna go ahead and hit this with a little bit of cayenne. And to make sure that this is nice and evenly spread out, and that cayenne, sorry, I like it really hot. Make sure that this doesn't burn in the oven too. We're just gonna add a little bit of olive oil and give it a little mix. A nice healthy dose on there, probably about 2 tablespoons. And just give that a good mix. We'll get that cayenne pepper all mixed in there so you don't get any like super hot spots. So I'm gonna spread that out into a nice even layer.
There we go.
In it goes. Wow, look how beautiful those toasted up. Oh, I love it. We're gonna transfer this to something a little easier to bread our cutlets with. And we are going to turn that off and crack it open because we do need to cool this oven down. We're only looking for about 400 degrees for the actual Charmander cutlets. So while I get this transferred to a breading pan, we'll go ahead and get the cutlets breaded up. So now that we have all of our beautiful breadcrumbs in a nice little breading pan, we're going to use barbecue sauce as our adhesive sauce to put onto the Charmander cutlets. Typically you would use like a Dijon mustard. You could even use a mayonnaise if you like, but again, since we're doing Charmander, we really want to play into that smoky, spicy, sweet, cute little guy that he is. And so we went barbecue sauce today. So we're gonna go ahead and get a nice layer on there. Oh, more than that for sure. And you can use any, if you do use barbecue sauce, you can use any kind of barbecue sauce that you like, whatever suits your fancy. We have a spicy honey one today. Like I said, I want to get a nice, good layer on there.
And then into the stuff.
And that'll just help that those breadcrumbs really stick on there. Just give it a good push. Oh, that looks great. And then you want to put them onto a baking rack in your cooking pan. The baking rack is perfect for when you're doing something like this, because then we don't have to flip the Charmander cutlets. It'll cook evenly on both sides. It's not laying on the pan, so it gets a nice, good, even cook without having to flip it. So now that we have our Charmander cutlets all coated and breaded, we're gonna throw these in the oven. The oven is all done getting down to 400 degrees, and they'll only cook for about 10 to 15 minutes. So we did go ahead and cook these for the full 15 minutes. Just to make sure that they were fully done, but still nice and juicy. Turn that off and get these moved over to our plating area. All right, so let's plate one of these bad boys up and see how they came out.
Get one of those apples.
One of these apples here. So you can see how the apple turned out there. Ooh, that looks so good. That Charmander looks amazing.
It's good.
It's good.
Can't wait to dig in.
Thanks for joining us today. Gotta eat them all.
Gotta eat them all.